Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Live with Stephen and Walter. And I trust you can all see us and hear us okay. I'm just watching the monitor here to make sure that's coming up. And should be coming up. And
did you turn the mics on?
Yes, the mics are on. There we are. There we are. Boy, there's quite a delay today. Must be trying to get over the time change business. Yes, we had time change last night. I'm glad to see all of you. That didn't throw you off at all. So let's see who is here. First of all, we have got Stephanie's here. Hi, Stephanie, and Jeannie, and Barb, Sally, Derek, Brenda is here with the weather report for Vancouver, Washington. Nice fall day, she says, out there. Sue is here. Sue says, how are you coming along with your herd of Scrappy Cats? Well, we're going to show you shortly exactly how far I've gotten with those. Andy is here. Sue Ellen Quilts is here from sunny southern Minnesota. Derek says it's Guy Fawkes bonfire night here in the UK, so the sky is full of fireworks, but also an excellent display of northern lights up here. Oh, okay, that's nice. Yeah, we don't in Canada. We don't.
Well, actually, apparently, they said that northern lights have been visible from Ontario lately.
Oh,
yeah, but
I haven't seen them
because of some way the sun is pointing or something like that.
Oh, well, I was just that wasn't what I was going to say. I was going to say we here in Canada don't, of course, celebrate Guy Fawkes because that's more of a historical thing for when they tried to blow up the Parliament buildings in back. What was it in early 1700s, late 1600s, something like that. Dana's here. Hi, Dana. Greetings to everyone from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, Doll and Jury. What?
Plus
Your
five.
Doll and Jury? Doll and Jury, or Regina's Doll and Jury, or +5, soon to be raining, and then freezing overnight. Well, welcome to the Western Canada this time of the year. Right now it's 9 degrees here, and still looks fairly clear.
Well, I didn't go out today. So.
No, we didn't. We're outside today because we're busy with Ben's sewing. Oh, we'll talk about that too. Oh yeah, Stephanie bought some of those bins too. I think, Sue, you should have got a commission on those storage bins because I think we all bought some. I love them. Hi, Karen. And Suzanne is here. Hello, Suzanne and Teresa. Evening from a damp Dorset. No fireworks there. Okay. Russ is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Long time no see. Yes, Russ was on with the men sewing today as well. So been sewing with Russ most of the day. Nadine is here. Hello, Nadine. Sally's finishing dinner. Okay. And Mona's here. Yay, only 3 hours difference in time now. Oh, okay. Heather is here from Nova Scotia. And Melissa. Brenda Fowley from Kentucky. And Janet Lloyd. Getting a lot of people in here today. So, and Marilyn. So, yeah, we've got lots of people here and a few new ones, I think. And Stephanie says to Mona she's only 2 hours different now from her. So, yeah. Candace is here. So, anyways, everybody's here. Good to see you all. Metaphorically speaking, of course, you can see us. We can't see you. Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but anyways. So, what have we been working on? Well, okay, I think I'll let Walter show first because he was working all day today and he's gotten quite a ways here on our shirts.
I had to put collars and hem the shirts that I was working on today, so I got that done. I even put the buttonholes on one shirt. The other one I haven't put the buttonholes on yet, and then of course the buttons. And then it'll be sort of done.
And a pocket.
And a pocket.
I need a pocket.
Didn't put any pockets on these shirts because it's time consuming and I thought I'd leave it to the end. So,
well, are you going to show them?
Yeah.
Well, you're sitting there talking away about them and
so anyway,
no show.
So these are the 2 shirts. Hang on. Oops. Hey, it's falling off my hanger. Okay.
Well, you shouldn't be sitting on your hanger. Gee, you have a problem. Your hanger challenged.
Mm-hmm.
Here is This is yours, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be Walter's. You can see the retro. These are for that party that we're going to next Saturday night. It's a 1960s theme, so this has sort of a Jetson vibe to it.
And then this is Steve's shirt. I haven't put a pocket on yet, but other than that, I just have to put buttons on. So, and he's putting red. We're putting red buttons on this one.
What color are you putting on this one?
I haven't decided yet.
No.
Maybe olive green. I don't know.
We're trying to make a statement here. We're going bold. You know, go bold or don't go, kind of a thing. Hi Faith. Hi Inez. And Stephanie says those are cool. Great work, Walter. And Lydia's here. Hi Lydia. And Brenda Fowley. Very nice shirt, she says. And Brenda loves or Barb loves the shirts as well. And so does Andy. Great shitties. Oh, Andy, you kill me. Anyways, so that's what Walter's been up to. And you got a bunch done today on the men's sew day, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and it got up decent time too.
Yeah, you did. Geez, you were there for most of it. Okay, so I'm going to show you the progression of the kitties right now. I have a series of slides for you. So there's some of the kitties as I'm laying them out on my design wall. My design wall's getting kind of... And then there's a lot more kitties. And then there's a whole lot more kitties. Now this was... I had to build a temporary design wall using my display rack and old wool blanket kind of a thing. Because I needed the space to be able to lay the kitties out. And I could have laid them out on the floor, but it wasn't the same effect because I was trying to get them sort of coordinated because they are scrappy. That's what it's called. So here they are on that. And this is another picture of them with the pieces now sewn, the sashing pieces. And then there's the long sashing pieces between the rows right there. And then you've got some outside. I put a white border on it, a small white border, first of all, so the kitties... actually, it did call for this white border, except I changed the size of it a little bit. I think they wanted you to put a 4-inch border on, and I still want to add a little bit more color to this, but I didn't want the kitties to touch
the
color,
the border
because I want them to float here. So here it is with the border. I found this blue in my stash, and so there, the top is done. Now, of course, comes the quilting phase of all of this, and I haven't decided on what my patterns going to be, and I haven't decided on my backing fabric. In fact, I went looking for backing fabric online, and I saw some at Missouri Star Quilt, which was line drawings of little cartoony looking cats. That was a really good price for 3 yards of it, and it was still a good price even with the exchange rate and the shipping. But it was still going to come to about $100 Canadian for it. And I wasn't really absolutely in love with it. So I did some more searching and I've put that on hold now. I wasn't finding anything that I really liked. I mean, there's kitty fabrics out there that are the usual width of the fabric, but I don't want to have to piece it together. I want it 108. And prices, I did find some that was okay, but it was going to cost me like more than Missouri Star Quilt with the exchange rate and the whole bit. So I've got backing fabric here, and I think I've got some that I can use. I was looking for something with a bit of a cat theme, but you know, no one's going to look at the back and the front at the same time. So I'll make do with what I've got, I think, with it. And I'll look for a pattern. I've got it in my mind that I saw a pantograph pattern, which is a ball of yarn with little swirls and things. You know how cats like to play with things like that. I thought that would look good. You can always get ones that look like paw prints and put on it too, but I don't know if I want paw prints on here. So I'll hunt more next week. My goal is, whether I'll get to it or not, is next week I'll get it on Lucy. And
sorry,
keeping you up, are we? Fine.
It got up early.
Aw, poor baby. Yeah. So I'll look for something that'll go with it, and maybe next week I'll get it quilted, or maybe I won't. We'll see how that goes. Pamela's here. Hi, Pamela. Philippa's here. Janet Lloyd. Did I say hello to Janet Lloyd? I am now. So everybody seems to be liking it. Yeah, but I'm glad that I'm coming to the home plate with this one. Because these cats were a bit of a bitch. Needless to say. So, yeah, that's the one, Stephanie, I think I'm thinking about. And I may have already bought that one at one point in time. I'll have to check my list of things. And if not, I'll go over to Urban Elements, because that's the one I have in my mind for that, too. And then I have to figure out what color I'm going to do it in. I could do it in a variegated that's got the reds and the yellows and the blues and the greens in it. I have some of that. I don't know. Or I could do goldy. I don't know. I have to wait and see. I don't want something that's going to take away from the cats themselves. So it should be somewhat subtle in color. Maybe a light gray. I don't know. I'll have to play around with that. So anyways, that's what we've been up to. So coming up, again, Wednesday, Sewing with Stephanie and Steven. You know the drill. But today, we had the Men's Sewing Day. What did you think?
It was good.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot. I think at the height of it, there would be 10 of us with it. But yeah, we're going to do it again. Decided, and when I say we, I mean I, decided that possibly the first Sunday of every month, we'll see how that works out with people, and do it from 8 till 3. Got a lot done. So, I know what question you're going to ask me. What's the difference between a men's sew day and our regular pop-up sew days one when we have all the ladies and everything at it? What would you say the difference was?
It was quieter.
What was that?
It was quieter.
Yeah, it was very quiet. Yeah, and you want to know something? I didn't have to get out my seam ripper as often as I usually do. And yes, sometimes I make mistakes because I'm stupid and an idiot, but other times I make a mistake is because my attention gets distracted because I'm listening to what people are saying.
It's not like there was no conversation.
No, there was conversation.
But there was conversation, and a lot of it revolved around what we were working on and sewing, and questions about sewing in general. And
yeah, and about sewing machines. Nobody actually really want to be put in a spotlight and show what they were working on.
No.
Or what they had. No, we didn't have a lot of that happening. It was definitely a different atmosphere. I'm not saying it was a better atmosphere. It was just different from it. I still enjoy the company of all of my ladies there for the pop-up sew days and things like that. But there wasn't any enabling going on. Like nobody brought up anything. Oh, have you seen this? You should get it. Didn't cost me anything today. Yeah, it was definitely a different toned, a different mood.
No, actually, there was lots of fun.
Yeah, it was lots of fun.
But it wasn't as... There wasn't like somebody always talking or anything like that. Like there were quiet moments, and then people would talk every once in a while, and then there would be some more quiet moments, and
totally different atmosphere, which I anticipated that it would be.
Yeah, because we've been on things like this before.
And
that's usually the case.
Yeah,
I mean, people ask questions about things, about where you are and where you live, and ask about what shops you shop at and stuff like that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So I mean, like there was conversation in that. It's really hard to say what the difference is, but it was definitely a little different, and it was a good time. It's not going to replace pop-up sew days, far from it, as I still enjoy my pop-up sew days and everything like that. But I want to see what this might be like Now, there was a question asked about if there was going to be a men's retreat, like a physical retreat, because some of the people that were there came from the Canadian Male Quilters group, because I reached out to them and I'm a member of that. That's a Facebook group. But it's been pretty inactive over the last year or so, too. And mainly because I think the person who had put that together, he's gone on to other things now. He's an ambassador for Bernina, and he's doing an awful lot of stuff for them, so he doesn't really have the time. But I guess they had one a year or so ago in Vermont.
Yeah.
I think the way, even though it's called the Canadian Male Quilters, there are some Americans, I think, on the site. And the guy who used to look after this, he ran a retreat in Vermont, and he ran one in Canada, somewhere in Canada. He always used to pick a different spot. And that was before before we got into doing all this kind of stuff. So we never had the opportunity to go to something like that. Although the guys were saying that the one that was in Vermont didn't include food. It was kind of expensive. And he said it was okay.
It was okay, but it was a lot of money to spend to go to a retreat.
He thought at the time. And so I don't know. I think the days of those kind of retreats I think they're getting more and more numbered with it. Thanks to COVID, kind of a thing. And then there was one gentleman that came on there.
I guess part of the problem is you got to get enough people to commit to go type of thing. So
it costs money. I mean, like for the organizers, they have to put up money up front for, renting wherever you're going to and all the arrangements. It's a lot of work for one individual or for a couple of individuals to plan and organize something like that. So I could see that the guy who was doing the Canadian Male Quilters, he just wouldn't have the time maybe for it. Kind of ambitious anyways to have one in the States and one in Canada, kind of a thing. So unless he's got connections in the States somehow that help out with it, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it was good. So we'll try it again and see if we get more guys. So if you're a guy out there and you're interested in something like this, just send me an email and I can put you on the mailing list so you'll get contacted about the next one. The next one will be the first Sunday in December, as I said. So yeah, all are welcome as long as you're a male. Sorry, girls. No girls allowed. It's a boys' club. Some people have come in since then. Kelly's Quilts is here. Patsy's here. Catherine's here. I think I got her. Gail. And Heidi. Heidi's here. Okay, Heidi ho. So Inez says, so you got lots done with no ladies, no conversation, no fun, laugh out. Nope. It was fun. Not the same. Okay, I will say this. It's not the same kind of energy and fun that you get when it's, primarily the ladies. It was a little more low key. The ladies tend to, will talk and they ask questions and things like that. The guys, there was conversation, there were questions and things like that, but it was more low key in all of that. Yeah, Sue, there was no enabling this time. Jeff's here. Hi, Jeff. You're welcome, Jeff. Jeff was there too. And he said he enjoyed himself and he got a lot of work done. Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot done today too. I'm working on a table runner for my kid. I need a palette cleaner after the kitties. So I got a fair amount of that done too. And Walter got his shirts. So yeah, it was good. So anyways, there you go. Those are all the secrets. Did we assassinate personalities, female personalities? Oh yeah, we ripped you up by name. We put you up there. We just unseamed you from the nape to the chops. We had a lot of fun doing that. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, none of your names came up. So next Saturday we're off to a party. I haven't been to a party in, when was the last time we went to a party? God, we never get invited to anything. So, and what do you know about this party besides it being a 60th birthday party and who the person is? Like, is it being catered?
Well, supposedly they're going to have hors d'oeuvres, but I
Yeah.
don't know what that constitutes. So.
Okay. Is the bar an open bar?
Well, it's open, but I think we're have to pay for it.
No.
So
Well, that's not an open bar then, is it? No. Not that that matters. It's not like I'm going there to slug back a bucket of booze.
no.
But there is music and dancing or something, didn't
Yeah.
you say?
Yeah, there's supposedly probably a DJ and dancing.
Well, so it's a bit of an affair.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that. I mean, we didn't do that on our 60th birthday.
No. I mean, we probably won't know that many people there. We'll probably
No.
know just the sewers there. But I think the crowd's probably pretty easy going.
Well, she's married to a guy that has a Greek background, isn't she?
Yeah, and they
Might be lots of
have
relatives.
lots of parties and stuff.
Hoopa. Sakanaki for everyone. Anything. Oh, well, I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's a night out. We haven't done that for a while. Oh, Nancy's here from Belleville. Okay. And oh, Stephanie says, I thought my ears were burning. He says, I told you I have broad shoulders. Okay. Catherine
We
says, I
did
would-
talk about Stephanie and the 4S's and stuff like that. People were asking.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, someone asked what the 4S Club was. So I did tell them about that and everything. And we talked about Stephanie's retreat in Georgia when we're going to that. So yeah, we did. We talked about Shannon and
Slayer.
no, it's
Shannon and we talked about paper
foundation
piecing.
piece, but what's
Paper
the
piecing. Legit.
legit kits, yeah. Okay, mental block there for a minute. We talked about that. Ron was on there, and many of you know Ron from out on the east coast of Canada. He's usually at one of our sew day things as well. He works on legit kits too and is doing stuff, so he was talking about that. Yeah, so we did talk about these things as whatnot, but we didn't assassinate anybody's character. Russ, Jeff, be quiet, say nothing about that. Now, Catherine says, I would love a Walter retreat to learn how to make a shirt. Okay. Do you want to talk about this one? Because this isn't the first time this has been requested.
Yeah, I know. Well, that sounds easier said than done because making a shirt takes quite a while, especially if you've never done one. And even when I make some, it still takes me quite a while to do one. So even if I sit down and actually sit down and do it, it would have to be over a series of days type of thing to do it. So no, I'm not really the type that I think I would be able to teach that.
And equipment wise.
Yeah, I know. Like, I mean, see, right now, I do my seams different than what the traditional seams are for the shirts. Normally, you have to do a flat felled seam if you're doing a shirt that, you know, you want to present to somebody else or something like that. And that's how I learned how to do them is that through that. But I find they're very time consuming for me to do. So I take a shortcut and I use my serger and do something called a faux flat felled seam. So that's what I do. But the shirts can be quite tricky to do. There's things that you have to do, like set your sleeves in. That takes a little bit of experience. And even me, I've done 10, 15 shirts, and I still have trouble doing them. So I'm not confident enough to teach something like that to somebody else.
Yeah, so it's not... We've had this request a couple of times from other people.
I mean, a lot of people that quilt say, oh, yeah, you've got all these pieces. Like, I mean, there aren't that many pieces in a shirt. You've got 2 fronts, a back, 2 yokes, 2 sleeves, 3 pieces to a collar. You just think, oh, yeah, you got to sew all the pieces together. Well, it's not that simple. You also have to learn how to stitch straight all the way down your fronts. You have to do something called top stitching, so all your stitches show, and you have to make sure that all your stitches are nice and straight. So, things like that.
Yeah. And to teach something, like anything, you know, there's a lot of work involved in order to teach something, even though you know how to do it. It's a totally different ballgame when you have to teach something like that.
Like even the guy that taught me how to sew these shirts, we did this as a class, and the class ran about 3 hours a night for about 6 or 7 sessions, right? So that gives you an idea. And even then, you still had to do pal homework and everything else. So you'd get behind and you'd have to catch up or something like that, or you'd muck something up and you'd have to fix it on your own. So that's pretty intense. Even when I make one of these shirts, it can easily take me 10 to 15 hours to make a shirt, if not longer, in time, from cutting the patterns out to interfacing it to doing all the stitching together. And that sounds like a lot. That is a lot of work. So it's not as simple as piecing. Well, I'm not saying quilts are easy to piece, but it's always, quilting is always the same kind of sewing, right? Over and over again.
Much, yeah.
Like you're just attaching pieces of fabric to each other using the same kind of stitch, right? Whereas this, you're working with, like your sleeves, your sleeves are bigger than the hole that it goes into. So you have to try and fudge it so that you don't get any tucks and stuff like that to get in. That takes a little bit of
practice. Yeah, well, nothing else. But what was it? Catherine says they make me really want to try. So for someone like Catherine who's looking to figure out how to make a shirt, what would you recommend then that she do?
Well, there's lots of YouTube type tutorials online.
Yeah. Well, go to an actual class if there's a.
If there's a class somewhere that you can take, that's actually probably the best way to do it, because the instructor can tell you tips and tricks and stuff like that to make it a little easier for you to sew the shirt. And really, that's how I learned how to do it, is I went through a class. And
but you went through a virtual class.
Yeah, I did. We started off as an in-person class.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did.
And then we ended up going virtual, and I happened to manage to figure it out, but there were a few people in the class that couldn't figure it out. So to do the sewing, and they'd quit halfway through. So
yeah, well, I thought about giving it a try.
Pamela here says, is there interfacing? Yes, there's interfacing in the shirt. I use Pellon SF101, or you can use a product called Sewer Stream. And for my collars, there's 3 pieces to a collar. There's this piece, and there's a piece called the undercollar. And that's 3 pieces altogether for a collar. And I also use it for the interfacing for the button band, because it needs to be stiffer than the rest of the shirt. And if you're making a long sleeve, which I don't make too many of those because they're real pain, and is that you have to put interfacing in your cuffs so that they're stiff as well.
So it's kind of involved, but you've made so many now, you've got it down.
Like I've got it down that I can cut the pieces out and sew it all together without having to look at the pattern. Like I've gotten so used to doing it, I don't have to look at the pattern anymore, which is half the battle, because then you're adding a whole pile more time to it, because you're always checking the pattern to see what you have to do next. So,
oh, Donna's here. Hi, Donna and Sherlock, and M is here. Candace wants to know: have you ever made PJ bottoms? I'm looking for a good pattern.
I have made. No, did I make PJ? I have made. No, I haven't made PJ bottoms.
I have.
Yeah, no, I made a type of track pant, which is basically the same.
I don't remember. That's when I took the
have a
pattern
class. Technically that I've got for that. There's lots of patterns around you can look online, just to do a search online. There's lots of patterns around. One that I've used for is Wardrobe by Me. She's online, and you can order PDF patterns from her. And I think she has a PJ bottom or a sweatpant bottom that you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, those would probably be fairly easy, especially if you have a serger.
Yeah. Well, I made a pair. Back, I took that.
Let's say you made a sweatshirt.
But didn't I make pants too? I
think, that's right. Yeah, I made those pants.
I didn't.
But I didn't have a pattern. That pattern was given to me at the course that I took.
Yeah. I didn't have a pattern. It was something they were showing us how to use the serger, and this was a simple project, and they were god awful ugly. That's all I know. Clothing sewing is not for me. Although I am tempted sometimes to really give a try at making a shirt, but I have a feeling I'd get very frustrated very quickly with it. Inez says, I love the way you do pockets. They really match to the shirt front.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, the pockets are nice, but they're extremely time consuming to do.
Well, why? Why do they take so much time?
Well, I have to look for matching fabric on the stuff, and I have to get it to match. I've got it down that I know what I'm doing, but it still takes me a lot of time to get it to match.
That's one of your signature moves on a shirt.
It can easily take me an hour and a half to get a pocket to match.
Well, let's take some. Catherine says, you always look great, Walter. What am I, chopped liver? Fine. She sent you a bouquet of flowers, too. Catherine's hitting on you. Oh, wrong tree, baby. M says, I wonder if Stephen has ever talked about color theory. I believe I saw color wheels on some episodes. Yes and no. I have talked a little bit about color theory, kind of my theory about color. I have talked about color wheels before, but I've never done anything too extensive on it because I'm not an expert on it, and it gets very, very confusing because there's a lot of terminology on the different things. And I did do a whole course on color theory when I was a scrapbooker. The local scrapbooking store wanted me to put together a program on color theory for scrapbooking. And I had to learn at that point how to do the color wheel and all the different terms, which I don't remember most of it anymore. I know Karen Brown of Just Get It Done Quilts has a whole thing on color theory, a series on it that she put out a few years ago, which, you know, if you go and look her up, Just Get It Done Quilts, you can probably find that in her video list. And it's fairly good. What I find about color theory is, and maybe this is blasphemy, but I don't think you're going to be a better quilter or designer because you know the theory of color. I think we all have a theory of color. It's built inside of us. We know your best color wheel is your gut. If you take two pieces of fabric that are different colors and you hold them up against each other, you'll know whether you like it or not. And trust that. The one thing I find a lot of, and you hear it in quilt stores, are people who will not trust their gut. They get all tied up trying to get the perfect color combination. You know, think of nature, okay? Nature has a lot of color in it, and it mixes those colors all the time. You go into a forest, like in the fall or something like that, there are all kinds of colors, and they all seem to work together. And I think we just get too uptight about whether this color is going to work or not. Now, there are some color combinations that probably make us go, well, with it. But it's in the eyes of the beholder, really.
I mean, you can even look at this shirt. There's all kinds of colors in this shirt.
Yeah.
And you would probably think, oh, my God, do those colors, how do they match? And they don't.
So really, my theory about color is if it doesn't make me go, ugh, then it's okay. It works. It's a gut reaction kind of a thing. Oh, Diana's here. Hi, Diana. Maggie's here. Balloonist says, I used to make shirts for a couple of coworkers. One guy liked basic colors and the other liked Hawaiian prints. Yeah, I'd be the guy for Hawaiian prints.
Barb says she was surprised I don't embroider on my pockets. Actually, I haven't found anything that I really want on a pocket for embroidery. That's my basic problem with that, is that there isn't really anything that I've really thought of that I've wanted as
I
to
think
be
that's,
on a pocket.
and I don't want to sound sexist, but I think that's more a lady thing.
Yeah.
I think ladies like embellishments on tops and things, you know, embroidered embellishments and things, and I think most men don't. Now some do. A monogram might be nice, I guess,
or
something very simple.
Star Trek symbol or
Yeah,
something.
maybe. Well, you could maybe something like that or something like that, I guess. But yeah, and when you start fooling around with embroidering on, say, a pocket, it can distort your fabric if you're not careful. You know, depending on how many of stitches are in the embroidery in that, and you really want to make sure you're using.
Well, actually, with the embroidery, what I would do on a pocket is interface the pockets to be a little stiffer, and then also embroider a piece of fabric first and then cut it to make the pocket.
Oh yeah, that would probably be the easiest way for it. True. Heidi says, I struggle with choosing colors. I supplement my shortcomings with suggestions from accomplished friends. Yeah, you know, whatever works for you. If colors are, Barb says, if colors are pleasuring to your eye, then go with it. Yeah, use your gut. Because I think people get frozen. You watch them in a quilt store. They've got this hunk of fabric in their hand or a picture on their phone or something. And they're going, I don't know, is that one? And, you know.
I've seen people, like even the lady that I've known before, and in the quilt store, and she's looking at something and she has a little dot in her fabric and she's trying to get an exact match from that little dot in the fabric to the coordinating fabric, when actual fact is that you can get just about any color that goes pretty close to it or whatever.
And you'll want to have more than one piece or something to match up, because you have to know what other colors are going to be, like when you're doing quilts, right? Because colors play off of each other. They will change their hue depending on what they're up against. You know, if you put a bright green next to a purple, that green's going to probably pop. But you can also put a blue on the other side of it and it's going to dull it down or whatever. So, yeah, and I guess that all comes from color theory. What are you giggling about?
No, I said, Stephanie says she could put the idiot quilter on one of Stephen's pockets.
Yeah.
I said, no, I could just put the idiot on Stephen's pockets.
Well, first of all, I get insulted by Catherine, okay? And now all the rest of you, oh yeah, what's this, pick on me day, right? Nah, I'm just joking. I know, Catherine, you weren't doing it. Stephanie, no, she was. I know that, but, you know, that's okay. It's Stephanie. Catherine says she looks at bird colors. They're fascinating. Yeah, if you take a look at birds, you know, especially ones that have lots of colors in them, it works, you know, kind of a thing. Stephanie says, uh-oh, gave Walter ideas. Yeah, he doesn't need any more. Hi, Sandy. And Letitia. And Dudika. And Elsie. I didn't say hello to you guys before. Yeah, so anyways, back to M's question about color theory. No, I don't feel qualified to be able to do a formal study of color theory, because I do not have any art training. I don't have a background in graphic arts or anything like that. Like I said, I just go with my gut. And yeah. And really, if you know all the terminology, because color theory is a lot of terminology. When you see somebody pulling out a color wheel, or I do, I run in the opposite direction. I've got color wheels. I have tried to use them. I've never had a great deal of luck using a color wheel. Maybe I'm not using it right. And there's all kinds of different styles of color wheels you can get.
I think people sometimes get too hung up on what you should do.
Yeah.
Like
what you should do and what you want to do. Okay? Yeah. I would go with, what do you want to do? It is your quilt. You decide what works for you. Don't worry about anybody
Like
else's
the
opinion.
people that say that you have to drink certain red wine with certain kinds of food and certain white wine with certain kinds of foods. Well, what if you happen to like red wine with every kind of food?
Yeah. Like, there aren't, contrary to popular opinion about color, there aren't any rules. That is how that there are people out there who make a living doing whole courses at university and college levels in fine arts courses and that, who get right in there about the color. I think they're full of bullshit myself. The ones that stand in front of a painting and go, I just love the subtle hue of that gray that they have next to that cobalt blue. It brings out
I'm
the
sure that if you
ambiance.
go into any art gallery, you'll find all kinds of samples of art that don't follow color theory.
Yeah. Hi, Billy. Hi, Christine. Hi, Catherine. So I don't know. I mean, feel free to disagree with me because you will anyways. But I mean, I don't get too hung up on it. You know what you know. Elsie says, I once made a top and it was fun to add embroidery design. However, it's time consuming. Only have done that once. Yeah, that's the other thing too. It takes time for that kind of thing. I suppose though, if you're making something really special and you want to add that little bit of, something special to it, yeah, sure. It's probably worth the time then. Stephanie says, and there will always be someone, even if you are perfect at color theory, who doesn't like what you did, like a certain judge who obviously didn't like ombre. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Stephanie. Yeah, and Dudica, she's agree. I can probably always find a better combo, but if I follow my gut, I can get through the project and know I will like it even if others don't. Yeah, true. And there are people who go into quilt stores and they see a pattern that they like, or they see a quilt on display and they'll ask, is this available in a kit or the pattern for it? And, sometimes yes, sometimes no. And if there is, because they want to make that exact quilt using those exact fabrics and those exact colors. And I think they're really boxing themselves in with that. And really, they're just copying then. I think you should put your own twist on things. Scrappy Cats. That is not how the pattern looks. If I'd followed the pattern exactly the way that they wanted it in the colors, it would look totally different. I didn't like that. I wanted to do something a little bit more in my design aesthetic, which is bright and bold and beautiful. Yep, that's me. Go bold or go home. M says, I don't disagree with you. I just want to know your opinion. Well, M, that's my opinion. Just go with your gut. Simple as that. End of the course. That'll be $349 plus tax. Thank you very much. Candace says, you can always stick to a collection. They generally always coordinate well. Yeah, that's true. That's what I like about pre-cuts. Because oftentimes pre-cuts, you can't go wrong because all of them in the package will work together with it. So if you really you don't want to spend the time having to pick out all your fabrics for a certain quilt pattern. You just want something that's going to work together. Sometimes if you can use pre-cuts, they do work for that. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I've gone that route on some projects before because I was just too damn lazy to pick all the colors out myself. Yeah, so anyways, let's talk about nasty comments, shall we? This irked me last night. It did. Now, you might agree with this nasty comment, but you probably didn't see the nasty comment because I eradicated it as soon as I found out it was there. Somebody, I don't know who she was, not a regular, she turned around, and I think she's a cranky old lady because that's exactly what her comment was. The comment was this on our So Chatty. It was not a constructive comment. Once heard, she says, let Walter speak. That was it. Now, okay, yes, I talk more than Walter does, but let's get things straight here, okay? Our personalities are different. Walter talks when Walter wants to talk, okay? I can't make him talk. If he doesn't want to say anything, he's not gonna, okay? I hate a vacuum. I don't like silence. except today on the men's quilting. I really enjoyed that. But, like, you got to keep things moving when you're doing something like this. All right. And it is my channel. So, my sandbox, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. But I just thought, there's a nicer way to put that. What she could have said was, oh, I would have been interested to have heard Walter's theory on this, or heard a little bit more from Walter about that topic.
Well, she's making it sound like I don't have an opportunity to talk. But,
Well, just a minute. You have to remember, you have lots of opportunities to talk. Okay, go ahead, speak. But before you do, just let me say this about that.
I have lots of times that I can talk. Most of the time I just don't want to say anything.
Oh, no, when you want to speak, you'll make sure that you do. There's no two ways about it. You'll cut me right off. So, yeah. But, it shouldn't have bothered me. It shouldn't have bothered me. It's just some crackpot. In fact, I reported her as harassing as well. I don't know who the person was. She had a name, Nick or something. Lovely picture of her with her grandchild or something in that and the whole bit. Like I said, I think she's just a crotchety old bitch. So maybe I'm wrong. I'm basing it on a minimum amount of information, kind of like she was doing. So whatever. There's nicer ways to put things. It hurt my feelings.
Actually, Stephanie's right. I'm basically the same way probably in person that I am on here. So.
Yes, exactly, Stephanie. He does talk when he has something to say, and it's always something interesting. Well, now let's not get carried away. Okay, not always. But he certainly will express his opinion in no uncertain terms. Not unlike somebody we all know that was on a certain pop-up so day once who... Well, it's okay. He won't cut you up for eating. And some of you know what I'm talking about, and some of you don't. And sort of, it's kind of unfair to use that don't, but I'm not going to get into that. But anyways, maybe it was my mood. I don't know. I just thought, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, I guess. Or if you can't say something constructive, all right, choose your words.
Yeah, well, you know why on this channel, if he stops talking, it'll be dead silence.
Let's try, shall we?
Okay. See, I don't know what to say, so start talking.
Did you miss me? Oh, well. Anyways, that woman was a bitch. She's no longer on the channel. Bye-bye. Always have the power of the delete button. Yeah, we have our own shtick, Marilyn says. So anyways, I just thought I'd bring that up because it's nasty. Let's talk about other things too. Let's talk about Halloween, shall we? Did you have a lot of kids? We didn't. I don't know exactly how many we had because, okay, Walter's laughing at this because I was an idiot. What I do is, we have all this candy, right? I count it out and put it in a big bowl. So I knew I had 100 pieces of candy in the bowl. We had more than that, but I left 100 pieces in the bowl. And my idea was that, and Walter thinks I'm a cheap bastard because I only give out one little chocolate bar to each kid. Well, they're going to other houses. I don't need to feed them for a year on crap. So then after the night's over, I count out what's left in the bowl, right? You do your basic math, and so I know how many kids come. Well, we were so bored because we didn't have that many kids and that, so we're shutting it down for the night. I just dumped everything back in the candy box. I forgot to count it.
So I said to him, okay, so how many kids did we?
I went, oops. Best laid plan of mice and men. So I don't know. At the most, we had maybe 30. Maybe. I think it was closer to more like about 25 or less than that. But I don't know. But I'm sure you'll debate with me on that one.
Well, I think it was more than 30.
How would you know?
Because
You
I
didn't
was
go down
counting them at one point,
And
and
what did you get up to?
I was up to about 25, and then we had a pile more kids come, so I figured it was more like 40.
Okay, maybe it was, but all I know is we've got lots of candy left. Yum. Not really. I'm kind of sick of it.
Actually, I'm not that thrilled with it either.
No, I'm not either. But, when we're desperate, we will eat it. So yeah, so what are other people saying?
Not much.
Quilt Meets World. He says, silence was deafening. Don't do it again. Russ. Candace says, silence is deafening. My God, Elsie, you're really the emoji king or queen tonight, aren't you? Let's see. That's why I love your channel. You tell it like it is. Yeah, Jerry says, I had 0 kids at the door, so I am now diabetic. Oh, yeah, well, someone's got to eat it, right? Russ says, I had 65 trick-or-treaters and all the Middle Earth came through the neighborhood. But, Russ, don't you make up goodie bags for them? There was something you said on your vlog or something about you felt that the kids who made it to the top of your driveway or something because it goes uphill deserve something for that effort or whatever. Do you actually spend time making up goodie bags and handing them out? I mean, really? Why? I would be just as happy standing at the doorstep and pitching them at them. Here, go for a fetch. Here. Oh, it's in the middle of the road. Mind the cars. Oh, too bad. Whatever. No, I don't really do that. No, I don't.
Well, Philip is agreeing with Stephanie that I'm the same.
Oh, yeah. We compliment each other. Not if I can help it. Compliment? Oh, you mean in together, not like, oh, you're looking lovely this evening, dear. Not. Okay. Elsie had 0 kids for Halloween and 0 candy. Yeah. Oh, and Russ says, oh, I make goodie bags. That's how I know how many trick-or-treaters I had. Okay, Russ, let me see. How do I put this gently? Get a life. Really. Oh, Joan Reed is here. Hi, Joan. She had none. Hadn't had any kids for about 7 years. We're all oldies around here. Oh, yeah.
Well, that happens around this neighborhood, too. There tends to be a lot of more senior people.
Yeah. Rob's here. He says, kind of dozed off after the men's chat and just woke up. Thanks for a great time. It wasn't a men's chat. It was a men's sew day. Let's be careful about our terminology because, we don't want to give away too much of what we did because, then the ladies will want to come and we'll have to hurt them. They won't be allowed to come. I mean, hurt them emotionally. Barb says, I make up goodie bags with a sticker that has my address so the parents know the candy is safe.
Well, how do we know it's your address?
Yeah.
Why don't you put your neighbor's address in it, but razor blades in it?
Or then you're just inviting strange people to come to your door later. Hi, I got your address off the goodie bag, and I wondered if you had any more goodies for me, sweetie. Yeah. But whatever. Okay, so, but here's something that was really stupid. And that dumb app that keeps all the neighbors, informed about why is the siren going off at midnight downtown? I just saw a cop car go by at high speed. What's that all about? The gossip kind of things we've talked about before. Well, okay. There were people that were taking big bowl of candy, all the candy for the night, and they put it on their front doorstep and left it unattended. And then they had video from their Ring cameras showing these older kids, who might have been college kids, because this is a college town, picking up the whole bowl and walking off with it. And they were going, how could they do that? Why would they do such a thing? Well, idiot. You left a bowl of candy out on your step unattended.
Also, we live close to a university, so you've got...
hello, you've set yourself up for failure there. I mean, that is stupid. But then I found out, as I heard things on the internet or on YouTube, people talking about Halloween, that there seems to be quite a few idiots, and you're idiots. Okay, I'm sorry, but they're idiots. What do you think is going to happen? You think these little kids and that are going to come up there and go, ooh. One said, I left a note that said, please help yourself, but take only one chocolate bar because we need to save some for the other kids. Gone. Right. First of all, you're assuming they can read. Kids don't read. Okay, I know, I was a teacher. They don't read. And second of all, you think they're honest little things? No. The worst criminals in the world are usually children. Okay? Why? Because they haven't learned yet that certain things are not socially acceptable, or they don't care. And then, okay, the ones that come around with their parents, like, all right, that's fine. But some of these kids are coming not supervised. So, or they stick their whole hand up to their elbow in there and, daddy and mommy are down on the sidewalk. They're chatting with the neighbors. They don't see what's going on. Kids go, load it up, load it up, load it up.
Yeah, I think somebody else said that there was a kid that came and dumped the bowl into their sack.
Yeah.
And then a few minutes later, another kid came by and took the bowl.
Yeah. So really, like, let's see. Derek says, I commend the entrepreneurial spirit of those older college kids. Yeah, I mean, really, I think back to when I was in university, we did a lot of stupid things too. So, they're probably not thinking about it from some of those kids anyways. Other ones are just little thieves. But some of those older kids are thinking, oh, this'll be fun. You left the candy bowl out there, free candy. God, I'm going to take it all. Kind of a deal. Not really thinking, that maybe they should leave stuff for the other
they
kids.
haven't grown up and realized that, people are doing nice things for people, but
Yeah, and both Scrunchies and Russ both say the bowls went too. And there was one on a video they showed they took their bowl as well. Well, yeah, it was easier for carrying. In fact, the little thief that was staying wasn't little. He looked like an older teenager or even a university student. That was doing it. Yeah, he wasn't taking time to like pack it in a bag. He just scoop and run. There it is. Jeff says, I agree, Steve, I teach as well. They cannot read or they do not want to take the time to read. Times have changed. Yeah. I mean, you think about it. We're giving them permission to do that kind of thing on Halloween because really, we're standing there. They're coming to our door and they're expecting us to put candy in their bag. All right, that's the tradition. So you leave the bowl out there. What do you think they're going? Well, you expect us to take it. It's there. No one's slapping our hand. No one's supervising it. So just stupid with it. The other thing is too, okay, so there's another thing on that app. Someone was complaining that a teenager came to their door and they lectured them about, well, they were too old for trick or treat. And then a bunch of other people got in and go, well, no, they're just being a kid. They can go on that. Well, I agree with that person. Once they've hit high school, they're too old to be trick-or-treating. Okay? Grade 9, grade 10, a 14, 15, 16 and up year old, no. It's for little kids, not for teenagers. And what do teenagers do? They throw on a toque and they come with a pillowcase and you go, and what are you supposed to be, teenager?
One woman said that she was upset because she paid $80 for a costume for her 15-year-old.
Oh, yeah, that's what okay. Now, just a second.
I mean, there are kids.
There are some kids that are, have are mentally challenged and they might be 15 years old, but, they are frozen at the age of an 8-year-old or something like that. Okay, that's different. Okay, that I don't have a problem with. But if a parent for a perfectly normal, everyday, healthy, teenager is buying them a costume to go out on Halloween, who's really at fault there? Okay, is it the kid or is it the parent? And too many parents out there, in my opinion, yes, I know, I'm not a parent, I don't have children. If I did, I'd have to kill them. Tend to keep their kids young for a long time. Like they don't want them to grow up. Well, how are they going to be a responsible citizen or a contributing member of our society if you're going to try to freeze them at the age of a 12-year-old kind of a thing? I saw that when I was in school. The immaturity level of a 15, 16, 17-year-old. Many times it was boys, especially. But boys don't mature until 50. So, girls are always faster at that. Brenda says one older kid traveled from house to house with an electric scooter. How old was he? Okay. Actually, though, that's kind of clever. You cover more territory. You know the kids who actually plan out their route, because in our neighborhood, one of the reasons why we don't get a lot of kids is because we live on the back half of our subdivision.
And the houses are a little further apart.
Yeah, they're single dwelling houses. At the front part of our subdivision are all kinds of townhouses. So think about it. You can get more doors in a shorter amount of time when you don't have to walk as far. So I mean, I got to give those kids some credit for planning. That's kind of smart with that. But so that's one reason we don't get, I think, a lot of kids. And there aren't a lot of kids in our neighborhood that I've noticed.
There's more than there used to be because the old people have died out, and the older people have moved out, and younger families have moved in.
Yeah. Oh, Russ says you're never too old for trick or treat. I don't care if they're 22 or 102, and teenagers could do much worse out there. Russ, you're such a suck. I don't care if the kid is in costume or not. If they say trick or treat, they get candy. Make them do a trick. There used to be an old lady in where when I was growing up as a little kid in a town we lived in then, who wouldn't give you anything until you had to sing a little song.
I'd skip the house.
Yeah. Well, she gave out good stuff though. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's why you wanted to do that. So you basically prostituted yourself for candy with that kind of thing. Inez went out in her teens and loved it. Yeah, and I'll bet you're one of those kind of people go to an adult party wearing the dirty nurse outfit too, right? Halloween. Bah, humbug. Brenda has to leave. Derek says, kids, students these days are unusual. Sometimes they seem to lack basic skills, common sense. Sometimes they have the most insightful discussions. Yeah, I know. That is true, Derek, about them, but not the ones that steal your bowl of candy. Okay? They're just morons. Well, I don't know. I think the moron's really the person who put the bowl of candy out for it. Temptation. Okay, I was wondering when Keith would mature. One more year. Well, hey, you're talking about your husband, aren't you? Stephanie. Mimi's here, makes stuff. Age doesn't matter to me. Give sugar and send them home. Yeah, well, yeah, I disagree with all of you on that. I'm sorry. There's got to be an age limit, really. I mean, okay, if the teenagers come around, then give them a shot. Like, what the hell? They probably want to have that more than the candy anyways. Here, kid, I'm handing out little miniature bottles of alcohol. Here's a vodka for you, gin for you. You look like a rye boy. Here you go. Derek says, my students last week astonished me as they were discussing what they learned about how to treat people kindly by watching that Heartstopper show on Netflix. Renewed my faith in human nature. Yeah, but will it stick? That's the only thing. And here's the other thing that really pisses me off. There's always the ones that come up with the babe in arms that popped the kid out 3 weeks ago, and they've got them already dressed up in the little bunny ears and the whole bit. Trick or treat. I don't know you, and I don't know your kid. I know that kid is not eating the candy, okay? So who in your household is eating the candy with it? And I don't care if you want candy or not, but don't, like, isn't she cute? No. You just stuck a set of ears on an alien. Really? I mean, no. Kids aren't cute. Babies especially. Ugly. Ugly. Sorry. Unless they're related to me. And even then, it's iffy. No, I don't care about your kid looking cute. I'm not going to stand there and go, oh, you precious little thing. Here, kid, here's your candy. Bye-bye. Go away. I did see some funny ones, though. Toddlers. Just barely walking. They're trying to get up our steps. I just stood at the door Mm-hmm. Hi. Okay, watch that step. Oh, you fell, poor thing. Another step. Keep it moving, kid, or no candy. And no, I didn't do that. I thought it, though. Some cute daddies, though.
Yeah.
Whoa. Stroller meat. Whoa. Hello, daddy. Trick or treat. Well, never mind. Enough about that. It was boring. It's always boring. It doesn't matter how much wine I drink on that night, it's still boring. Yeah. And so we shut her down at about, what was it, about a little after 8?
Yeah, because it was deserted on the street.
Well, I went out several times and I'm looking up and down the street.
In fact, the neighbor next door said the same thing to you, right?
Yeah, he said, he says, I think that's it. He says, I'm calling it. And I said, I agree. Because we hadn't had any kids from about 7:30 until about 8:10. Nothing. Yeah. So, yeah. It makes me just, why bother with it?
Yeah, I know. It seems that, well, especially in our neighborhood, we don't get very many kids. And I kind of wonder whether it's worth, or I don't know if they're still going out in like the neighborhoods, like you said, with the townhouses and stuff, or what happens, or if people are having more parties and stuff like that.
Russ says, for the little kids with their parents, I'd say, what do your kids say? Don't take candy from strangers? Here's some candy, child, I've never seen before. Yeah, well, Russ, you're sending out mixed messages now. Here. On the one hand, you love Halloween. Yeah. On the other hand, it's
so it sounds danger. Like you only want the bigger kids to get.
We're just joshing you, Russ. Barb says, when I was a kid, we used to get popcorn balls. 45 RPM records? I mean, it's like 45 RPM records? Now that's one I've never heard of. What a great
She's out west, though.
Yeah, I guess. Couldn't afford real candy. Here, kid, have an Elvis Presley album. It's his latest. You'll love it. Popcorn balls. Oh, yeah. Popcorn balls. Homemade stuff. First of all, my parents would not let us eat anything that was thrown in there. But you know, those people that made the popcorn balls, and you know how sticky they were sadists. Because they knew they'd plunk it into your bag, and then you'd get home and everything was stuck to your popcorn ball, and you couldn't get it off. And there it was. It was stuck to it. It looked like something you'd hang from the ceiling and put a light on or something and dangle it around. Oh, those were cruel people. That or the toffee apples not wrapped up. Plunk!
I only ever got one that was wrapped up.
Yeah. Well, then, so you get them in the stupid bag, and you pull it out, and there's everything else stuck to it. Oh, God. People are sadistic. Scrunchy says, Stephen, how do you feel about the kid who comes with 2 pillow sacks and claims to be collecting for their sick brother? Actually, they don't even claim that now. One kid, I have to give this kid credit. He opens up his bag. He's got a spare bag in the bag, and I'm thinking, there's a clever shopper. He's prepared, you know. The little thugs with the pillowcases, though, those ones always bugged me. I saw a few of them, and I went, boy, you've got high hopes for tonight, don't you? Are you going to? Yeah, but they've got a bowl out down there. I'm going to get it. Well, you got the bag for it. Candied apples. Popcorn bowls was covered in wrap. Oh, okay. Yeah. My parents wouldn't let us eat it, though.
Well,
what a waste.
Still, you got popcorn balls, and they were wrapped up in, like, wax paper. The wax paper still stuck to them.
Yeah, that's true. Then you were trying to peel that off the next day.
And then they'd rip, and you'd have, like, wax paper.
I ate a lot of wax paper when I was a kid. You know, like the
There was a lady that lived around the corner, was actually across from our school, and she used to sell taffy from her door.
Is that her
like
daughter's name?
A nickel a pop or something like that, right? And that was when it wasn't Halloween, and so everybody would go to her place for Halloween because she'd be giving out taffy, and it was good stuff.
Oh, well, okay. My parents wouldn't let us have it. If it looked like it had been homemade, they immediately pulled it out. We were told, we were given rules. You're not to eat anything until you get home and we have looked at it. And they'd look at it and they'd sort out the homemade stuff. It'd instantly go in the garbage. And then they'd look at some of the candy, and if it was really cheap candy or something, They would put it in a separate bowl and give that out to kids if they were running low. And then they'd go through it, and you'd notice some of the good stuff went missing. My mother was a sucker for caramel bars, the chocolate with the caramel in it. So those would just mysteriously get put off to the side. My mother liked those. But yeah. Let's see. Barb says someone here in Calgary this year was giving our 2 liters of pop. Others were handing out potatoes and carrots. Can you believe it?
A 2-liter pop, that's good. It weighs the bucket.
Weighs down the bag. They're dragging that up the state. And then it probably gets shook up, so they get home, they open it, and it blows up over everything. There's someone that planned ahead for that one. Oh, potatoes and carrots. Okay, those people are just the other extreme. I want you to eat healthy, so I'll give you a potato and carrot. Kid will look at it and go, yeah, right, boom. Gone with that one. Stephanie says, I haven't had a popcorn ball since the 80s. Those were good. I was never a fan of popcorn. It gets stuck in your throat and then you go, kind of thing. Might have been just me. Russ says, neighbors had a separate bag they kept on them. Emptied the kids' bucket in there regularly. That way, folks would feel sorry seeing half-empty bucket and give them more candy. Didn't work on me. I had a couple of little ones that had just started off. They were the same ones that were dragging their bag and tripping over it on the step as I giggled. And I'd look in and they had this bag. They didn't know what to do with it. That's how young they were. Like they were probably 3 years old or whatever. And nothing in their bag. So I dropped one in. And then one of the kids reached in, pulled it out, and handed it to their mother. I said, oh, I guess first Halloween? She says, yeah. I says, oh, well, they'll learn. But from that. Miniature boxes of raisins. Oh, no, I liked those. Those I liked. Those were good. I liked the little, what do they call them? Sunmaid, the little boxes. I always liked those. Those were good because I like raisins. Philippa says, I noticed my niece and nephew were given lots of coffee crisps. Do these have coffee in them? Who gives coffee to kids? Coffee crisp is actually a chocolate bar here in Canada. That's very, very popular.
Yeah, and I doubt there's any coffee.
There's no coffee in it.
It's a coffee flavor.
Yeah, it's mocha tasting kind of a thing. It's all artificial in it. I'm surprised that you have them in Australia, Philippa, because I didn't think I don't think the States have coffee crisp. I don't know. No. Someone American, you could tell me if you've got coffee crisp, because I don't know. It used to be you didn't. I knew that. It was strictly a Canadian thing.
It's a Nestle's product now. So
yeah, so maybe you do. Sue says, my former dentist gives out toothbrushes. Buzzkill. Yeah, really. You would think a dentist would be more clever. Give them the best candy that's going to rot their teeth because it gets more business. I mean, don't give them a toothbrush. Oh, Stephanie's never heard of them.
Well, Coffee Crisp.
Coffee Crisp.
Yeah, it's a Canadian chocolate bar.
They're a nice light snack.
Yeah.
That's what they used to say on the commercial.
I don't mind them.
They're okay.
There's no coffee in them.
No.
Yeah, close to me. I never heard of coffee.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian chocolate bar.
It's a Canadian type chocolate bar. It's little thin wafers with delicate chocolate poured over them, and they're supposed to taste, they kind of got a mocha taste to them.
Yeah.
It's actually, they kind of taste waxy and nondescript, but my mother used to love them.
I don't mind them.
Yeah. Okay, when we go down to Georgia, we'll have to get some coffee crisp to take down to them so they can see what the coffee crisp are like. Yeah. Yeah, they've never seen them. The dentist should have given out, Barb says, his business card. Yeah. Yeah, that might have been better business for him. But I think an alternative, and I think there are a lot of places, it looks like, that are doing this kind of thing. They're having sort of this trunk or treat or something where they get into a parking lot somewhere, in a school, a park, and kids all go there. And
yeah, so the kids get an education on buying stuff from people's trunks.
Yeah, hey kid, want to buy a chocolate bar? But I guess they go around and do it that way or something. And I think, in some ways, I don't think that's such a bad idea because it could be a bit of a party, for the adults too, kind of a thing. I think family events would be a good idea. A local community hall or something, or a block party kind of a thing. I mean, the kids are being supervised. Well, maybe not. If the parents are getting tanked up, who cares? That kid go off and haunt somebody. But I think that might be more fun and safer, maybe. And, have games, have the kids have a little parade showing off their costumes. If people want to bring a baby,
Yeah, that's an idea. We should get some candy that they don't have when we take Georgia. Go over to
yeah,
and get some.
we'll bring them
coffee
some
crisps
Canadian
and stuff.
things. Like babies bobbing for apples.
Hickory sticks.
Hickory sticks, yeah. All dressed potato chips. Milk in a bag. Everybody gets milk in a bag. But I think there's other. I think Halloween needs to be what do you call it? Redone. Because this business of going out there and buying candy, the only ones that get any profit from that are the candy makers with it. Yeah, Stephanie got to feel a bag of milk when we were in Halifax. We took her to a grocery store and said, "Here, feel this. It's milk. Milk in a bag." Scrunch says you can usually get coffee crisp in the British section of supermarkets in America. Oh,
Well, I don't think that Coffee Crisp was a British.
it's not a
chocolate
British.
bar.
It's not a British chocolate bar. It's definitely Canadian.
Yeah.
But maybe Canadian are linked to the British Empire. Maybe they figure it's all the same. I don't know. Ketchup chips, Karen says. Yes, ketchup chips. And all dressed. I think now the Americans have salt and vinegar chips, don't they?
Yeah, I think they do.
They didn't used to, but they do now. Sewing Sensations by Shady Susan is here. I used to take my son to the firehouse for Halloween party instead of a trick-or-treating. Oh, you just want to see hunky firemen. No coffee crisp here, Philippa says. My favorite Canadian chocolate is Score.
Is that a Canadian chocolate bar?
Well, we can get them here.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if that's a Canadian one.
I don't know. The Americans, do you have Score chocolate bars? Let us know. Oh, Stephanie says they have ketchup chips now in Ohio. Oh, I know. When Philippa said that her sister that because they're here.
Yeah.
That's why. I forgot about that. I was thinking.
See, Stephanie says they have Score.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know if it... In my mind, that's not really a Canadian chocolate bar.
No,
although
I
they're
didn't think it
available.
was.
But
It's
what
not an original Canadian chocolate.
about Big Turks?
I don't know if we can still get them here.
Oh, that's true. We might not be able to get them anymore either. So, yeah, used to like those. Pat says, I agree on more color in the kitty border. Good eye, I say. Thank you, Pat. You've made my day. It has been approved by Pat. My quilt is Pat approved. Thank you, Pat. Oh, I'm in a facetious little mood today, aren't I? Yeah, they have Score bars in Delaware. Okay. Inez says, we have a lot of business here who get together in parking lot and have what they call a trunk party. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Chips, cheesies, candy given from the trunk of their vehicles, and fun things for kids. Yeah, I think that's kind of a neat idea myself.
Well, Score's made by Hershey, so Hershey's an American chocolate bar.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, so there you go. Kathy says, we do have salt and vinegar. Yep, okay. Joan says, we have that at our church. The kids dress up and attend mass, and then they trick-or-treat in the parking lot, all the members of school. Only the Catholics could screw around with
Stephanie
Halloween.
says she can't get Toblerone.
Oh, you can't get Toblerone?
Isn't that a Swiss chocolate bar?
Well, is it really?
I don't know.
You know how they make up names on things, like Haagen-Dazs.
No, but I think Toblerone is... I don't know what it is.
Well, they call it Swiss chocolate, but is it really?
Oh.
I don't know. But we have them here. They're plentiful here, especially coming up to Christmas time. You get them in all kinds of sizes. You can get these huge Toblerone bars.
They have Toblerone in France, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe that was a European chocolate.
Yeah. Actually, maybe is Toblerone a French product? I don't know.
Yeah,
or maybe
Swiss.
I'm thinking of Ferrero Rocher.
Ferrero Rocher.
Which I don't even know if that's French or not. It's probably
no, I
not.
thought it was Italian.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. Elizabeth says, my simple neighbor had her grocery order delivered. All the kids had parents. All the kids and parents had a good time picking through the order. Well, did she really want it for Halloween, or did she leave it out on the step and people just ransacked her groceries? I'm a little confused about that, Elizabeth. Um, this time of year, Derek says we have these huge Toblerones in stores. Also, Derek, oh yeah, yeah, we do here in Canada too. Put a big red bow on it. When when you don't know what to get somebody, give them a Toblerone. It's always a good time with that. So, comments this week. Certainly struck a note when I had mentioned after the incident with Margaret about the eating and the whole bit that upset a few people on the last pop-up sew day. I had said, well, making me second think whether I should be running pop-up sew days. Well, one person wrote, don't stop your wonderful day for one person. We're not like that person. We enjoy seeing you and what you all do. It only takes one bad apple to spoil the whole bunch. And she's quite right. I was being a little dramatic. I wasn't going to cancel pop-up sew days because of one bitch. No, that wasn't happening. And somebody else said, thank you for deciding to continue pop-up sew days. I got so much done, and except that one incident, I enjoyed meeting new friends. Yeah. And although I was not at your sew day, I'm sorry to hear that incident led to so many hurt feelings and that hosting these days has left such a sour taste for you. I know you work hard to organize all the opportunities for quilters to share their hobby. I hope your men's sew, next page, day works out well with less drama. Yes, there was less drama. We don't usually have drama on pop-up sew days or anything. Everybody's always very nice to everybody else, very courteous in the whole bit. That's why I think this little incident really stood out. Now, we talked about quilt stores and having an online presence and things like that. And this person who's it's the Empty Nest Crafter, she's in Australia. And she said, I'm just starting a business and trying to get stocked up. However, I'm doing it from my home. I will in due course have a web presence, but my point is that there are a lot of home businesses here in Aussie now. Honestly, okay, there is no bricks and mortar shop, but we are still a small business. My web presence will be, and is right now, it's Instagram, but that will be extended at a later date. I would happily do a stall at a fete or an event of some sort, but right now they are not local and hard to get when hauling items on public transport. Yeah, and I can see that. The point we were making with that is if you're going to run and operate it out of your home, then you need to have an online presence of some sort, and a fairly substantial one if you're going to, in our opinion, because that says you're legit when you have that. If you don't and you're operating it out of your home, for me anyways, maybe other people feel different about it, I don't want to go to your home.
Well, no, not only that, if you don't have an online presence, it's hard to find you.
Well, yeah, that too. And I don't know about Instagram. I don't do Instagram, so I in my way of thinking of what I do know about Instagram, I don't think that's the best way to run a business on Instagram. It might be a way to advertise.
I think you limit your audience when you do that.
Because Instagram is a lot
because
of young people.
What I'll do is we'll go somewhere like even in our own area. We'll say quilt stores in Oshawa, right? And we'll see what comes up type of thing. And if you don't have something in that search engine or whatever that bring that up, then I don't know about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think people that do Google searches are probably the most prominent type search that they do. And if you have it on Instagram, maybe you advertise it somewhere else, but you are limiting your audience to who will see that. Now, maybe if you're just starting out right now, maybe you don't want a huge flow of traffic, but
yeah, I don't know. Barb says Toblerone is a Swiss chocolate brand owned by Mondelez International, originally Kraft Foods. Okay. Well, it's hard to know what anything is.
There are Kraft Foods Kraft does sell foods here.
Yeah.
that they don't sell in the United States. Like we have Kraft peanut butter, but I don't think they have Kraft peanut butter in the United States. So
another thing on the list to take. But yeah. But anyways, just back to that point about the home businesses. I'm not against home businesses, but don't expect people to beat a path to your door unless you have a very legitimate web presence on there that people can order from, because I'm not walking up to somebody's house that I don't know and, hi, do you sell fabric here? Or making an appointment. No, I think that's limiting your options. If people have to make an appointment with you, I think you need to establish business hours with it. I don't know. Maybe that works for some people and they're happy with the way it works. I just don't. To me, it just, I don't know. I feel uncomfortable with that kind of thing for
Stephanie
buying.
says we have extra creamy peanut butter.
Oh, extra creamy peanut butter. Oh, I like extra creamy peanut butter. Shannon says, good evening. Hi, Steve. Oh, Shannon, well, you're just in time for us to say goodbye. So nice of you to drop by. Mona says, we have Kraft peanut butter in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So, well, Kraft was bought out by an American corporation, weren't they? At some point in time?
Or are they still Kraft?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's hard to keep up with who owns what and where anymore. But whatever. Well, yeah, I think we'll take a few things down to Georgia with us that are, I mean, okay, the poutine might be a little soggy and cold by the time you get it, and the gravy may have congealed, but I don't think we'll be.
Barb says Kraft sells whipped peanut butter too.
Ooh.
Oh, so it's a
whipped.
little S&M.
Ooh, a little. Does it come in a little leather jar? A little black outfit? Barb, Stephanie says they definitely don't have that. So, I guess it depends on the state, what you have there. So, whatever. Stephanie says you can keep your poutine. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of poutine either.
No, it's overrated.
Yeah, well, it's hard to tack on a plate. So, just got home. Oh, I mean, at least to say hi. Hi, Shannon. Yep, glad you did too. But anyway, so I think that's about it. Well, we're at our time now and everything. So what's coming up? We were just I was going to mention it when Walter said something about using the internet to find things, or an internet presence. There seems to be a lot of people that don't know how to do a Google search. So we're going to talk about searching for stuff for quilters next Friday on So Chatty. Have a list of things that you might find helpful with that if you're struggling. Because what I'm trying to do is to have people stop asking me where I got something. I mean, I do mention most of the time, and I try to put it in the show notes. I know sometimes I don't put it in the show notes, because I assume if I said I got it from Amazon, you just plug it in, you'll find it, But apparently that's not the case. So we're going to talk about, how to find things. And that kind of thing that come for quilting. Like you see a fabric you really like on somewhere, someone shows you, but they don't tell you what the name of it is or don't know it. There are some tricks you can use for all of that. So we're going to talk about that next Friday on So Chatty. Idiot Quilter, I'm going to take you through my latest quilts this week. The kitties, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the kitties with that one. And some other things. And we don't have anything else coming up.
A reminder of Stephanie and Stephen.
Oh, yeah. Well, I already said that. But yeah, again, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Be there, be square. If you want to be. You can come anytime you want. Doesn't matter. I will be leaving partway through that for a little while. I'm getting my flu shot on Wednesday. My doctor's running a clinic, so my appointment's at 2:15 in the afternoon, so we'll see how quick that will be. But it doesn't matter. Stephanie will be here. So you all come for her anyways. I know that. I'm not hurt much. And Philippa says, I agree. I'm not a fan of poutine. You can feel your arteries clogging up. Yeah, you can. Oh, seems like scammers ruin it for everyone. We have home business when I was growing up and didn't question it now because everything might be a scam. Small business suffer. Yeah, that's probably very true. Pulled pork poutine, Karen says. I'm throwing up in my mouth right now. But anyways, okay. So that's it. Hope everybody has a good week. And yeah, and we'll see you next week. So bye for now. Say goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye.